free from any disease. According to Kyrie, the National Health and Morbidity Survey 2019 found that the percentage of diabetic patients in Malaysia has increased from 13.4% in 2015 to 18.3% in 2019. The report also showed that 1 out of 5 individuals, or nearly 4 million Malaysians aged 18 and above in the country, live with diabetes or the equivalent. Now, the Malaysian higher education sector continues to improve globally in the annual ranking of universities in Asia by global higher education analysts QS Quacquarelli-Symonds. According to the 12th edition of the QS World University Rankings by subject, QS recorded year-on-year increases in the number of Malaysian programs achieving top 50, top 100 and top 200 ranks. Malaysian programs featured in 42 of the 51 subject rankings with 207 entries. A total of 25 of these entries were brand new, while 55 rose in their positions, 78 maintained their ranks, and 49 declined. University Malaya is the most represented public university in the rankings, with 37 of its departments ranked. It was followed by Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia with 25, Universiti Putra Malaysia and University Science Malaysia at 24, and University Teknologi Malaysia with 17 departments ranked. This year, 2 more universities broke into the top 30, with both UM's Library and Information Management and International Islamic University Malaysia's IIUM Theology, Divinity and Religious Studies being ranked 28th in their respective subject tables. The 12th edition of the rankings saw 10 Malaysian university departments featured among the world's top 50, which was 2 more than last year. The ranking is compiled by global higher education analysts QS Quacquarelli-Symonds and provides an independent comparative analysis of the performance of 15,200 individual university programs at 1,543 universities in 88 locations across the world, across 51 academic disciplines and 5 broad faculty areas. In other news, the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency MMEA has initiated a search and rescue operation in Johor's eastern waters of Mersing after 4 foreign divers were reported missing. The missing divers, 2 teenagers and 2 adults, went missing during their diving training exercise in Pulau Tokong Sanggol near Mersing on Wednesday afternoon. The missing divers were 2 British men aged 14 and 46, together with a French female aged 18 and a Norwegian female aged 35. Johor MMEA Director, First Maritime Admiral Nurul Hizam Zakaria, said the Johor Bahru Maritime Rescue Sub-Center received information through the Putrajaya Maritime Rescue Coordination Center at 2:35 p.m. about the incident involving 4 foreign divers who failed to reappear after their diving training that took place at around 12 p.m. The search and rescue operation was activated at 2:45 p.m. involving assets from MMEA, the Marine Police Force and the Malaysian Fisheries Department, and the team's search radius is estimated to cover 21.45 square nautical miles. As of Wednesday evening, the victims have not been found. More local updates later in the bulletin, but first, more sanctions to be imposed on Russia. The details when we return. front now, the United States and its allies will target Russian banks and officials with a sweeping package of sanctions on Wednesday and ban new investment in Russia. This after Washington and Kiev accused Moscow of committing war crimes in Ukraine. According to the White House, the new sanctions will impose additional restrictions on financial institutions and state-owned enterprises in Russia and target Russian government officials and their families. It said in coordination with the G7 and the EU, the additional sweeping package of sanctions will impose costs on Russia and send it further down the road of economic, financial, and technological isolation. The measures will also degrade key instruments of Russian state power, impose acute and immediate economic harm on Russia, and hold accountable the Russian kleptocracy that funds and supports Russian President Vladimir Putin's war. Pakistan President Arif Alvi told the Election Commission Wednesday to fix a date for a new national ballot as the Supreme Court sat to decide the legality of political maneuvers that led to Parliament being dissolved. The court must rule if the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly violated the Constitution by refusing to allow a no-confidence vote against Prime Minister Imran Khan over the weekend. Had the vote taken place, Khan was certain to have been booted from office, but the move allowed him to get the loyalist president to dissolve Parliament and order an election. Opposition parties have cried foul and are refusing to cooperate with forming an interim government to oversee any ballot. But on Wednesday, Alvi upped the ante. A statement from his office said the Election Commission had been told to propose a date in order to carry out the mandate of the Constitution. Shanghai on Wednesday made some concessions on a widely unpopular child separation COVID-19 policy in a nod to growing public frustration as it extends a citywide lockdown that has left some residents struggling to buy food. The lockdown of China's most populous city, which started in parts of Shanghai 10 days ago and has since been expanded to confine practically all of its 26 million residents at home, has massively disrupted daily life and business. Public criticism over the curbs, part of Beijing's elimination strategy, has ranged from complaints over crowded and unsanitary quarantine centers to difficulties in buying food or accessing medical treatment. But the most controversial policy has been Shanghai's practice of separating COVID-positive children from their parents, which came to the fore on Saturday and triggered widespread anger across the country. In the face of such criticism, the Shanghai government 2 days ago said it would relax the policy slightly to allow parents to accompany children if they were also infected. But children will still be separated from parents who were not COVID positive, prompting further complaints. SEA Games football, Malaysia drawn in same group as 16-time champs Thailand. The details up next. Sports now. The national under-23 football team have been handed a favourable draw for the Hanoi SEA Games, which will be held from May 6th to the 22nd. Brad Maloney's side are in Group B with defending champions Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore and Laos in the biennial competition. Malaysia will be up against Thailand on May 7th, followed by Laos on May 11th, Singapore 3 days later, and will complete the group stage against Cambodia on May 16th. Only the top 2 teams from each group advance to the semi-finals, which will take place on May 19th, while the final will be held on May 22nd. The national under-23 team can consider themselves lucky to have avoided Group A, which comprises hosts Vietnam, Indonesia, Myanmar, Timor-Leste, and the Philippines. In the 2019 edition, Malaysia failed to make the semi-finals following embarrassing defeats to the Philippines and Minnows, Cambodia.
Obviously, Thailand, one of the giants of Southeast Asian football, so we expect them to be favourites for the group. Be very challenging. We met them back in October in the AFC qualifiers, so I'd expect something similar from them, and I understand that they will be bringing back some players that are based abroad in Europe and so forth.
The national body will be using the SEA Games to groom the squad accordingly for the Under-23 Asian Cup and the Hangzhou Asian Games later this year, and also the 2024 Paris Olympic Games qualifiers. Still to come on Nightline, more than 4 million vehicles expected on roads during Hari Raya. Some 4.7 million vehicles are expected to hit the roads nationwide in conjunction with Hari Raya Aidilfitri next month. Bukit Aman Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Director Datuk Mat Kasim Karim said due to the expected increase in vehicles, the department would mobilize 6,559 traffic officers and personnel at contingent and district levels to ensure traffic smoothness and safety. Datuk Mat Kasim said, as in previous years, the road safety operation Ops Lamat 18 will also be conducted from April 29th to May 8th. He said it will focus on the prevention of burglaries as well as to minimize the rate of road accidents during the festive season. Elaborating further, he said under OP Slamat 18, the Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department will focus on OP Motosikal, OP Hat Laju, and OP Perdagangan, which will be carried out in all-out enforcement, where no appeals will be considered to ensure road users comply with the laws. He added that the department had also done careful planning to ensure that the accident rate could be reduced and minimized by at least 50%. Police have arrested a 40-year-old man who had fled to Pulau Pinang hours after allegedly stabbing a 19-year-old Rohingya to death in a house in Bukit Tembok, Negeri Sembilan. Seremban OCPD Assistant Commissioner Nanda Ma'ruf said the suspect, also a foreigner, was detained in a textile shop in Bukit Mertajam on Wednesday.
Sebenarnya rumah ni disewa oleh suspek dan maklumat awal yang kita dapat, mangsa ni baru dilihat dalam lebih kurang tempoh 1 minggu ni berada di rumah ni. Jadi dipercayai dia menumpang dengan suspek.
ACP Nanda said police found the victim's body in the house at around 10 a.m. on Wednesday after being alerted by a member of the public. The victim, who was stabbed in the stomach, is believed to have died 5 hours before his body was discovered. He added that the suspect's employer had also come to look for him at the house after he failed to turn up for work. Police also believed that the victim and the suspect got into an argument which led to the stabbing. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. A diver was extremely lucky to catch a glimpse of a frilled pygmy octopus when the tiny creature popped out from a bottle in Port Phillip, Australia. There is very little known about this pygmy octopus, as their small size allows them to live in habitats out of sight of humans. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching, and to our Muslim viewers, Selamat Bersahur and Selamat Berpuasa.